G'day guys, Riley here from RD Auto Electrics and welcome back to the channel for 2025. Today you are tuning in to episode number 5 of our GQ Patrol build series. Now this is an episode that we've been really looking forward to showing you guys. Obviously last year we finished off the year with a little bit of a negative episode, but it had to be done. New year, fresh start. We are kicking it off with a really exciting episode which is going to cover our full rear setup. This will include our custom rear draw system, our massive lithium power system that we're running in this thing, along with our sleeping setup and fridge and freezer system as well. So let's not waste any time guys, let's get stuck into the episode. Well, here we are guys, this is it. So firstly we'll run you through the draw system layout and then we'll have a chat about our sleeping setup. So obviously we wanted to keep the draw system as low as possible because we've obviously set it up to sleep on top. So we've kept it fairly basic and simple. We just have one full length storage drawer on the driver's side, nice and deep and as long as we could get it. And then out from that, we also have a table as well. Nice wide table for cutting, food prep, all that sort of stuff. We put it under the drawer side. So when you are cooking, you can obviously have this one out. You can get stuff straight out from the drawer fridge, straight onto your table, and you're good to go. So if you do have the table underneath the fridge side, it means that anything you've got on the table has to come off when you want to access the fridge. So hence why we put it on that side and laid it out as we have. Now the drawers, if you haven't seen the logo already, we got custom made by Full Bore 4B drawers. These are the drawer systems that we supply and install in-house. So any of the drawer systems that you've seen on our social media that we've supplied and fitted, we always use Full Bore 4B drawers. These guys are located in Victoria. We get the systems custom made to suit your exact requirements and obviously to specifically fit your vehicle, and then we get them shipped over. They're available in a couple of different carpet colors and trim finishes. For the GQ, we've opted for the grey carpet with the powder coated black finishes, and we're really happy with how it's come up. These guys have done a cracker job. Another point worth mentioning is obviously at the moment we are just running the 2 front seats. So we have removed the second row to allow us to sleep inside the vehicle and get that length in the system. But we did get the drawer system built as if it was running 2 rows of seats. And then we just got the front section built as a removable platform. So at any point, if we did want to put that second row of seats back in, we can simply just remove that platform, bolt the seats back in, and the drawer system can stay exactly as is. So if you haven't seen it already, our sleeping setup. So we obviously wanted to get away from needing to A, carry a swag with us, or B, have to set the vehicle up with a rooftop tent, because we wanted to keep the center of gravity nice and low and didn't want to be having to run a rooftop tent. So fairly early on in the build, I decided that I wanted to set the vehicle up to sleep in. Now, sometimes there's going to be trips where, boys trips where I'm on my own, and obviously there's going to be other trips where I'm traveling with my wife, so I wanted to be able to set it up to be comfortable to do both. So how I went about doing that is pretty much 2 individual mattresses. So didn't plan this prior, but it just worked out perfectly that Clark Rubber had 2 mattresses that fitted the length and width of this top section absolutely perfectly. So as you can see at the moment, just got the 1 mattress in there, and then obviously for solo trips, and then when it comes to doing trips with my wife, I've got the second mattress that goes in this side, and it butts up perfectly to this one like they were custom made to fit. So like I said, that wasn't planned, that was just purely down to luck. So really happy with how that's turned out. Now, longer solo trips, I've obviously got the second fridge at the back there, which is a Dometic CFX 40 litre. So the idea would be that when we're doing longer trips, if I'm on my own, obviously I'll have it in there all the time. That'd be my deep freezer. And at the front of the drawer system, I've got the Angle 30 litre drawer fridge. Even if we're doing a longer trip and I am with my wife, we can obviously just sit the second mattress up here while we're on the road. When we get there, rip the second freezer out and then sit the mattress down in here. So yeah, that's pretty much the run through of our sleeping setup and also our fridge and freezer setup. So I guess now the big question is, what power system are we running in the GQ? Obviously I do it for a job, so it's got to be something pretty decent, right? You may have already seen we've got a couple of power outlets on this side and 2 40 volt power points on this side, which means we're obviously running decent size inverter, which means a decent size battery. So we'll run you through the basics and then we'll take you around the front of the system and show you some of the power system that's mounted under there. Battery wise, we are running a custom lithium 310 amp hour lithium battery. Now that's a big size battery. It's actually bigger than what we're running in our Ranger. Reason being for that, the space in there, it fitted perfectly. That's actually located behind the drawer fridge. It just dropped in there like a glove. We want it to go as big as we possibly can. The 310 amp battery that Custom Lithium produce is now the same size as the old 280 amp hour battery, which is what we're running in the Ranger, and very similar weight. So it's literally the same size and weight, but you pick up another 30 amp hours of capacity, which is nearly 10%. So we've opted for the 310 with this one. Haven't obviously given it a good run yet. We literally got the system in, took it up to the show, brought it back, and it's pretty much sat in the workshop. So haven't given it a good run yet, but really looking forward to testing out its capabilities and also its runtime when we are off grid. Battery charger wise, we are running something new and spicy, and that is the brand new Redarc Alpha 50 BCDC charger. Now pretty much this unit is the duck's nuts, the bee's knees, whatever you want to call it, of DC chargers. It provides a 50 amp output. It has alternator input from the vehicle, so the battery's charging while the GQ is running. Also solar input via our solar blanket via an Anderson plug. The unit has a couple of other really cool features, including battery back charging. So if we actually do flatten our main battery, we can use the battery system in the rear, the lithium, to actually back charge the start battery, which this is the only DC charger on the market that has that. It's a brand new feature. It has Bluetooth connectivity to your phone, so you can set all your charge inputs and outputs. It's a really cool unit. So we will cover a bit more information on that in a episode down the track, but that's just a little bit of background on the DC charger. Inverter wise, we are running the Redarc 2000 watt RS3 inverter. As you can see, it's got the remote on off switch there, so we can simply press and hold that, turn it on, plug our induction, cooktop, coffee machine, whatever it is, straight into the power point, flick it on, and we're good to go. We'll take you around the back of the system now. The inverter and the Redarc Alpha charger are visible. We've mounted those on the back of the drawer system, so we'll give you a quick look at those now. Alrighty, well hopefully you guys can see and hear all right. I sort of didn't anticipate how difficult it would be to get the camera in here on a nice angle, so spent a bit of time setting it up, so hopefully it's all right on your end, but really happy with how they've come up. Now this is definitely not a sponsored build or anything like that. We bought these products directly through our supplier, just as if we were ordering them for another customer. So none of this system is sponsored in any way. These are just all products that we really stand by, and obviously we use the same products ourselves that we recommend to you guys. So I've always found the best way to sort of find good products is to actually try and test them yourself. So anyone can sit there and read off the brochure and say, yep, it's a great product, but actually doing proper in-field testing with products like we do is really the best way. Anyway, enough about that. Just thought that point was worth mentioning, so the feedback that you're getting is honest. Now, the Redarc RS3 2000 watt inverter. So Redarc now offer two models of inverter, obviously the standard and the RS3. Now, the main difference is the RS3 is really more designed for use in caravans where you want to have hardwired GPO outputs. Now, the reason we fitted it in here is because number one, I liked it because it was black. The other thing is it obviously does have another AC output if we do want to wire additional power points down the track. It's also got your auto switching and stuff like that as well. So if we did fit an AC charger down the track, we can set it up so when we plug the GQ in at an external input into mains power, it'll automatically switch between on-grid and off-grid, or between inverter power and mains power. So that becomes an automated process. So that, yeah, a really handy sort of feature to have. I thought I might as well fit that unit up front, and then that way if I do want to do any additions with an AC charge, additional power points, stuff like that, it's all set up ready to go. So that is a really important part of planning a power system, sort of not only to think what you want from day one, but what are you going to want down the track, 6 months down the track, 12 months down the track. Are you going to want to change the system? Are there things that you're going to want to add? It's nice to at least consider those even when you're initially fitting the system, so you can cater for things like that down the track. Hence why we've got this little bit of space here to add an AC charger, so we don't have to move other components around and stuff like that. And obviously why we went with that inverter. So same sort of deal when we're planning a power system for a client. We'll always sit down, work out like, okay, what do you want to get out of the power system now, and what are your plans 12 months, 2 years down the track? So things like planning, layout, massive part of the power system, and really important that you get that right from day dot. There's one other point that I forgot to mention about the RedArc RS3 model inverter that sets it apart from the other model, and that is that it is RCD protected. So the AC output on the RS3 units are RCD protected. It's got a built-in RCD incorporated in the inverter, so you don't need to add an external RCD when you're running hardwired GPOs like we are. Another cool feature about the RedArc Alpha 50 unit that I haven't mentioned previously as well is the back charging from solar. So previously with the other BCDC models, whether it was RedArc or other DC chargers of other brands, your solar input would only charge your auxiliary battery. Once your auxiliary battery is full, the solar simply shuts off and it's sitting there doing nothing. Whereas with the Alpha 50, once the auxiliary battery is fully charged, it can then actually back charge your main start battery in the vehicle, and that's automatic. So it'll charge up your auxiliary. Once it's full, the solar will automatically switch from charging your auxiliary battery to topping up your main battery. Well, I think that pretty well wraps up this episode, guys. We've ran through our custom rear draw system, our power system, sleeping setup, fridge layout, and that pretty well wraps it up. Obviously, if you do have any questions on anything we've covered in this episode, if you think of something that we've missed, or you want some further information on the GQ build, whether it be on some items that we've covered in this episode or previous ones, obviously you can drop your question in the comment section below. You can reach out to us privately via our socials or our website. And as you can imagine, we're always happy to chat patrols and help out where we can. So if you have a vehicle that you're wanting to get set up for touring yourself, whether it be an old one like this one or a brand newie, we'd be more than happy to sit down with you and run through some options. As we mentioned, we offer the supply and install of the full bore custom rear draw systems in-house, as well as everything else in between, from your power systems, your onboard air and water, lighting, all that sort of stuff as well. So we sort of offer it as a drive-in, drive-out package, so you can drop the vehicle off and pick it up ready to head away for the weekend. So if you do have any questions on any of the products that we've talked about today, please get in touch. We'll be happy to help. So I guess there's one more question that we have to answer before we wrap up episode 5, and that's, what are we going to be covering in episode number 6 of the GQ build series? The vehicle's looking pretty well finished, so where do we go with this build series from here? Well, we're going to head over to the other side of the workshop and we're going to give you a look at where we're going with this build series from here, and I'm sure you guys are keen to see what we've got in store. Well, this is the can of worms that we're going to be getting stuck into in episode number 6. So this is a TD42 engine. Obviously fitted in our GQ at the moment is the diesel RD28. We are going to do this engine build from start to finish, so we're going to strip it right down. Obviously it's down to the block already. Still got crank and pistons in it at the moment, which will be coming out. Then obviously we're going to send it off to the engine shop. We're going to get the bores measured, honed, sorted, all that sort of stuff. And then it'll be new pistons, hopefully not a new head. Hopefully the head's all good. It is low K. We've got the donor car out the back of the workshop, so I actually bought a whole car. The body's a wreck, but it was low K and the motor and box looked fairly clean, which is obviously all we were chasing out of it. So this is the future of the GQ Patrol build series. So there's going to be a good few episodes now on the engine build. So episode number 6 will hopefully be this engine back from machining and starting to come back together. And then episode 7, hopefully you're going to get a look at the turbo setup that we're going to run on it, and maybe by episode number 8, 9, we'll be getting it in the car. I know that sounds optimistic, but yeah, you got to try and stay positive when you're taking on a build like this. This will be off to the machining shop next week. We should have it back in a week or 2, and then it's time to get stuck into getting it rebuilt. We've actually already purchased the turbo setup already. It's going to be reliable, fingers crossed. But we're only really going to chase that sort of 180 to 200 horsepower mark. Nothing crazy. We want it to be reliable, but still have enough power to do what we want to do with it. So that's it, guys. This is what you're going to see in episode number 6. Probably not what you're expecting, to be honest, not what I was expecting either, but this is where we are and we're looking forward to it. So there you go, guys. That is a sneak peek at what you're going to see in episode number 6 and the next few episodes after that as well. As always, thank you so much for tuning into this episode, for supporting the channel. We really appreciate it. It means a lot to us. and we really look forward to catching you on episode number 6.